Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. Today we're in our Mirage 2000C and we're looking at the radio for communications use. So we've got our Mirage here and we're at Copuleti Air Base. So let's look at who we're going to be talking to for this video. So we're going to click on Copuleti Tower there and we can see we've got the tower frequency that we're going to be talking to. We've got 40.8 megahertz, that is VHF AM modulation, 133 megahertz VHF AM modulation, 262 megahertz UHF AM modulation, and this one here at the bottom here that I don't understand. The only one the Mirage can contact is in this VHF AM band and this UHF AM band here. Okay, so next let's look at the Mirage ourselves. Now we can either use presets, radio channels, which we'll set in the mission editor here, and this is the only way to set the presets. And we can also choose the frequency on one of the radios manually in the cockpit, as we'll see. So let's click on the preset tab here. We've got two radios, a UHF radio and a VHF UHF radio. So the UHF radio can handle down to standard UHF 225 and up to about 400, I suppose. Yep, and up to 400. The VHF UHF will be able to handle probably 118. Let's try that. Yep, 118 and up to about 156 usually. Oh, no, sorry, up to 400 because it's a UHF. So this one here covers the VHF and the UHF band. So 118 to 156, 225 to 400. Okay, so that's that. So let's put in a couple of presets so we can show them off. So UHF channel 3, we're going to set to 262 here, which is the tower, if you remember, in the UHF band. And VHF UHF radio, we're going to set channel 3 to 133 VHF AM, which is also the tower on the other frequency. Okay, let's save that and get going. Okay, we're in the cockpit now, so let's have a quick look round at our different symbology. So up here we've got our display, our radio channel display. This is the VHF UHF current channel selected or frequency selected, and this is the UHF radio frequency selected. The radios are here. I'm circling now I'm framing here the UHF radio, and here I'm framing the VHF UHF radio. It has two separate radios, presumably so that we can monitor more than one frequency at once. Okay, so let's go over the UHF radio first. All pretty simple. We've got a 5 watt switch or a 25 watt switch. This selects the power. Only 5 watt works. Even on the real Mirage, only the 5 watt works for some reason. I don't know why they've got the 25 switch there. Here we've got silent mode. With this on, it suppresses the noise of the radio, all to do with, keeping silent and stealthy and whatnot. Here we've got, I've never known what this switch is, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't actually work in DCS anywhere. Here we've got the channel selector, the preset channel selector, left and right mouse button cycles the channels like thus. Then we've got, let's see, what is this? This is it's a type of coding switch, but it doesn't work, so it's irrelevant. Here we've got a test, which should work, but it's not working at the moment. You should hear some static when that comes down. That'll make itself obvious why shortly. And we've got a master mode selector. So we've got arrête, which in French means off, marché, which in French means on, F1, which has no function, H has no function, so marché for on. Next we're going to look at the VHF UHF radio. We've got test, which doesn't seem to be working at the moment. We've got this selector here, which doesn't do anything in DCS. We've got the noise suppression silent switch. We've got the channel selector left and right. We've got here a mode selector. We can select either manual frequency, which we can type in using this manual dial, P for preset frequencies, G for guard. Guard is an emergency channel on all military aircraft, which is monitored constantly. So if you're in trouble, you've got engine failure, or you get jumped by a bad guy, you jump onto guard, and that's a preset channel that people are listening to and ready for your complaints. So that's what guard is. So we're going to keep that back to manual for now, and we'll use that accordingly. Power switch, 5 watts or 25 watts on the radio. Again, in DCS, it only works on 5 watts. In the real Mirage, it only works on 5 watts. Here we've got the master mode selector, arrête, off, PAL. Oh, my French is so bad, and I can't even pronounce it, so I'm not going to try to. That means main radio, basically. PAL plus G, main radio. Listen means listen to main radio, transmit on main radio, and listen to guard, as we discussed earlier. So that will be probably your main use of frequency. F1 has no function, H has no function. So we're going to go back to main frequency there. So that's everything explained for the radios, so let's start using them. So first of all we're going to try in fact before we do anything, I need to show you the buttons we're going to use, and I'm going to show you that we can't contact the tower if we don't have a frequency tuned. So escape, adjust controls, search, radio select. Whoops. And here are the two buttons that you press on your HOTAS for using the radios. The UHF radio is this one here. So by standard it's whatever that says, left alt and num. And the UHF VHF radio is left shift and num plus. Okay, so that's how you find that. So we're going to try, we've not tuned in on any of these stations, so we're going to try any of the radios. We're going to try that one, the UHF. We're going to try requesting.
Enfield 1-1. Request taxi to runway.
Request taxi, and we should not get a response because we're not tuned in. And you can see we haven't got a response. Super duper. Next, let's use our UHF radio first. We're going to use it on the in fact, the UHF we can only use presets. There are no manual selection for this. This is essentially the backup secondary radio, if you like. So we're on Marche. We're going to right click. It was channel 3 we set as 262 UHF AM. So that's that. Let's give that a go. Let's use the right radio button, which is that. Whoops, wrong one. Let's try again. UHF and
Cabo Lady, Enfield 1-1. Request taxi to runway.
And we should get a response this time. He will take his sweet time, no doubt about it.
Enfield 1-1. Cabo Lady, clear to taxi to runway 7.
And there we go. Right, so let's scramble that. That is all we can do on the UHF. Next, we're going to look at the VHF UHF first. We're going to use the preset. So we're going to go to channel 3, which we set as 133 alpha mic in the VHF. And let's select the right radio. And let's try again. Abort takeoff.
Cabo Lady, Enfield 1-1. Abort takeoff.
Alright, whoops. Error. I forgot to set preset. My bad. So it's now on preset, and we're using that preset. Should we try that again? Abort takeoff.
Cabo Lady, Enfield 1-1. Abort takeoff.
Now we should get a response.
Enfield 1-1. Taxi to parking area.
And that's it. One more mode we need to do, manual mode, and we're going to select the manual selector here. We hover over the digit, basically, left and right mouse button, and that is a little fiddly in the Mirage. But so we want to go to 133, if we can get there. One thing I forgot to say is when you change these things down here, it also changes up here. This is how you tell. It's just an easier display. So I'm toggling at the moment with this one here, and that one's just 399, or preset 1. So we're going to go to 133.0. We're on manual mode. Double check we've got it selected OK up there. Yep. Let's give that a blast. Whoops, wrong button. And request takeoff.
Cabo Lady, Enfield 1-1. Request takeoff. Enfield 1-1. Cabo Lady, clear to taxi to runway 7.
That's it. So that's how to use the UHF radio and preset, the VHF UFH radio preset, the VHF UHF radio on manual, and the limits of each radio. I hope that helps, and see you later.